The last chance before drops get applied, we head to the Styrian Mountains. We head to a circuit which is known worldwide for being one of the overtake capitals of the world. And especially when you put slightly slower formula into play, this is a positioning mastercraft. This is the Red Bull Ring, and this is your RTA Virtual Motorsport F3 Championship Fixed Series, and it's live with us on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone watching around the world. My name is Jake Sperry. Alongside me in the commentary booth for this one is Ossian Puhaka. Daniel Costello will be directing cameras here tonight. He's patrolling the action using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. But a circuit that once upon a time was the most pivotal circuit in the world fell to disrepair and now is revived in all its glory. Let's take a look at what makes this circuit now the overtake capital pretty much of Europe with our GSRC track guide.
Welcome to the Red Bull Ring. Located near Spielberg, Austria, this track began life in a much more fast and sweeping format. Having gone through multiple different owners, it eventually was snatched up by Red Bull and has its 3 different layouts you see today. While they range roughly between 1 to 2.5 miles in length, the thing they hold in common are fast straights, hard braking zones, and very few corners. In fact, the longest and most common layout, the Grand Prix course, has only 9 of them. Spots like Remus and Gosser are the most popular corners for overtakes, but both involve dramatic elevation changes. Each have their perils. Remus tends to see drivers make contact when the blind cutback often goes wrong, whereas Gosser tempts you into braking far too late, and the downhill nature shoots cars miserably into the gravel. A few swift bends still scatter the track, with turns like Lauda, Rent, or A1 really testing a driver's accuracy at high speeds. However, most of them don't send you off into the grass. Rather, there is a lot of paved runoff. But they often include some nasty curves most cars will want to avoid hitting, as they've been known to damage suspension and undertrays. A variety of types of racing compete here, with everything from lower Formula open-wheelers to motorcycles, touring cars, and all the way up to Formula One holding events regularly. Set among the gorgeously picturesque Alps, and including great racing on a challenging and history-rich circuit, it's easy to see why fans and drivers are both eager every time they come for a race.
The Red Bull Ring is one of those very unique circuits. It doesn't look like it on paper, but it is surprising how much damage it does to left-hand side tyres. When you consider around this circuit, Ossian, that there are only 2 corners on this track that go to the left this circuit is a clockwise paradise, and everybody is pretty much scrapping for the angle on the inside.
Absolutely, they are, Jake. That is where the overtakes are made. Into the first corner, named Niki Lauda. Into the Remus corner, the second one, and Schlossgold, which is the third corner of the track. Those are the primary overtaking opportunities around here. And we'll see plenty of side-by-side racing heading in there, especially with the Formula 3 car. Fixed setup. We know this car does have the draft. We've seen some amazing overtakes throughout the course of this season. So during this 2.7 mile, 4.3 kilometer circuit with 9 turns, each one of them counts, we are in for a banger, I dare say.
I'd say we are going to be in for a really, really strong showcase of driving here tonight, especially with the championship flipping the way that it has done. Everybody is looking around thinking, what do they need to do? Ronan Doherty has taken championship command. He's 21 points to the good. That gap will shrink when the drop rounds are applied. Currently, that gap would be 10 points as it stands, heading to the season finale at Zandvoort next week, but he's got to survive the challenge of Jordan Kelly, who is there in second position. It is a long way back. There are 2 at the top of the field, and everyone else is fighting for third, and it's between the McClements brothers. It's a younger brother, Dylan, who's behind older brother Sean, with Lawrence de Sosua in 5th position. Has Peter McCann Company in 6th, with Rory O'Shea in 7th and Conor Malia in 8th, but 5th through 8th are split by just 8 points. Alexander Mielken is a little bit lonely in 9th position, but is putting some good results in, with Simon Hutchings' form starting to find a little bit of a boost and finds himself inside the top 10 Aussie.
Yes, indeed. And when you look at those points, you got to remember that, as you said on the intro, Jake, this is the last round before the drops are applied. So right now, with the drops applied, the gap between our 2 championship contenders, it is only 10 points between Doherty and Kelly. So those 2 guys definitely are in for a scrap, as there is a scrap for some other positions as well. But let's look through the qualifying. Let's look through the race details first, actually, before we jump to the qualifying. So we have 3 races, as per usual here on RTA. Race 1, 10 minutes. Grid will be set by the qualifying session that is going on right now as we speak. Then race 2, we got a 15-minute race, and the starting grid will be the finishing order of race number 1. And then you got the main event of the evening, so to speak, race number 3, 20 minutes, reverse top 8 from race 2. What does that mean? It means if you finish 8th in race number 2, you'll be starting on pole for race number 3. Drive-through penalty for the naughty boys at 15 incidents, and if you get 20 incidents, you're out.
And it could be so quick, that flick between a drive-through penalty and being out on instant points. We have seen it before in the racing that we've got. Here is qualifying, 3 minutes and 10 seconds to get over the line with a time. Jamal Gandor is currently in 15th position at the moment and is trying to really ratchet up a little bit of time out there to move up through the order. This is a really tough qualifying because there aren't many places you can gain out here on this circuit. It seems weird to say that, Aussie, but when you consider everything is heavy braking zones, everyone's adept at putting a brick on the floor.
More or less. Even if braking is something that is these days considered one of the most important parts of racing prowess. For a long time it used to be just you brake essentially to slow the car down, until people realized, no, you brake to turn the car into the corner. But the point is clear. Everyone more or less knows how to take a 90-degree right-hander, for example. It's one of the most basic types of corners. Everyone knows how to brake into a corner on a straight line and get in there. So the difference is really made on the sector that Melia is on right now, the middle and the final sectors of the track. These 2 fearsome corners, and they are fearsome, are what separates really the mice from the men.
And now over the line, Malia will go, trying to improve on a 24.342. And over the line, that looked like that did improve over time, but that one did not count. So was unable to really do much more than that with that qualifying effort. That one falls to the wayside. There is Dylan McClements, surprisingly down the order, 8th place here, it seems, is not what the doctor has been ordering. And this, of course, being a fixed setup series here, Ossian, there's no magic tweak that's going to fix it. It's just pure skill. You just need to drive faster, and that sometimes hurts for some drivers to say, but it's the truth. He has a little wiggle going there into Schlossgold. You've got to drive faster.
Exactly, you gotta drive faster, and one of the very important things to remember in this series, qualifying is super important. Even in a track like this, where overtaking is relatively easy compared to some of the circuits we have on the calendar, it's still very essential to get a good qualifying in this. Dylan McClements now gets some room from Chan Wing Fei right in front of him and gets on a clear path for the final 2 corners. You don't want to get stuck in that mid-pack. That's what Dylan wants to avoid. He's had very difficult time in last 2 races, and right now he wants to turn the tide and end his season on a bright note.
Well, he crosses the line. It's 24.508. He'll jump Alexander Mielken. Jordan Kelly went fastest overall and even further into the 23s. First driver to find that. Tony Stack almost gets caught up in Ronan Hederman's accident there going through, and now does. So there around goes Tony Stack. Hederman will have to scamper around. I'm not sure they would make it over to the line. So that is it. Grid will be set. And this is where it gets interesting in terms of how they stack. Let's take a look at it. Number 7, Jordan Kelly will be up on top of the timing stands. No doubts about it. The only driver into the 123s with the 123.969 alongside for company is Rory O'Shea back and bounty hunting as Ronan Doherty lines up just behind Jordan Kelly in 3rd. Conor Malia will start 4th with Sean McGoldrick 5th and Sean McClements in 6th. The Seans are on row 3 with Dylan McClements, the second of the McClementses, with Alexander Mielken in 8th place in the number 84 car. Peter McCann will line up 9th and Simon Hutchings rounds out the top 10.
Yep, and then we get to the second page where it's Lawrence de Sousa in 11th position and Ian May in 12th. Tony Stack 13th, Ronan Hederman 14th, with Jamal Kandur 15th and Damon McMullen in 16th. You got Chan Wing Fei 17th and Simran Tahar 18th. Sebastian Schulden 19th, and then it's Cem Kulbainsen in 20th position. Finally, in 11th row, Eric Couillard rounds out your 21 driver field as we get ready for the start of this event, Jake.
We do. We had the 21 number in play for him as well. Everybody sat up rating, knowing how crucial these races are. It's 34 degrees Celsius in terms of the track temperature, 93 Fahrenheit. It's pretty perfect. You can't really ask for too much better of a condition. The one driver we wait for is Alexander Mielken. He will be the driver that everybody is waiting on, with the exception of Cem Kolbeinsen, who also needs to populate onto the starting grid. This is where everybody now just has that element of calm, knowing that that run to turn 1 is such a closed corner that accident happens aplenty through that section. If you're alongside, you're going to have to be brave to try and hold it together. Lights, though, will go on here at the Red Bull Ring, and we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock as the race starts now. Jordan Kelly gets a decent start, so too does Rory O'Shea. Move to the inside then from Ronan Doherty, who immediately tries to spearhead away up another position. That's not going to happen as O'Shea holds that place. There's Sean McGoldrick, who's made good progress on the start. He's now going to look to charge down the hill over towards Ramus Corner at turn 3, but also trying to get into the action is Sean McClements, trying to help out his teammate.
Absolutely clean start by everybody. You love to see that. You really do. There's the Duff machine 10 on the inside. Sean McGoldrick, as you mentioned, getting up to 4th place past Conor Malia. And then you got Sean McClements in 6th place ahead of his brother, but Sean has to defend the inside, and this is very crucial that he gets this 4th place now. If he feels like he has speed, then he has to get behind that leading trio as soon as possible and not get caught scrapping, which does seem to be the case right now.
Well, he made a mistake coming through that section, and then the attack of the inside, the two left-handers. Sean McGoldrick will look behind and see it's Sean McClements who's there behind him, and the move so crucial in terms of how they stacked it up and made that pass, but they're losing ground then on the top three. Kelly, O'Shea and Doherty as it stands. Malia now moving to the outside, trying to manufacture a pass. That's not going to happen though, as the waiting game will now look to continue as they end the opening lap outright as they go forward and try and attack. But O'Shea has got a slow down penalty, or had a slow down penalty, and has lost second position outright.
He has, so it's now Doherty in the second place, which is interesting for our championship contention. Mind you, it is Jordan Kelly and Ronan Doherty. Two people who are winners outright are also fighting for the championship.
They are, but it's 2 points difference between first and second. You feel if Doherty's second to Kelly all race long, all season long from here, he can pretty much have a strong fight to hold on. He would lose the championship though by 1 point were that to be the case. There is Dylan McClements in 8th position, who's having an eye here down the hill, trying to attack through against Alexander Mielken. Mielken does lock up the brakes slightly as Ronan Doherty now finds himself back into 3rd position, struggling as O'Shea makes the move. And this is a very telling moment in terms of their championships, because this is all about parallels here, Ossian, because Jordan Kelly took his Formula 4 championship last week, or at the weekend. As that happened, Ronan Doherty took a Formula V championship this weekend in the real world. So it means that these two sim drivers are running pretty much similar career paths in oppositely opposed series.
Yeah, more or less. You can just see how it translates to real world results. This sim racing. You see that Kelly, championship winner in sim racing, is also a championship winner in real world. Same thing with Ronan Doherty. So it's one of those things that you're gonna see more and more of in the future, not only in UK but elsewhere across the world as well. So UK and Ireland, I should say. Ireland in this case, these are Irish guys, but it was a UK championship that Jordan Kelly won in the Formula Fords. Meanwhile, some great battles going on here. McClements and McGoldrick, they're fighting for that 4th place with Conor Malia in their mirrors.
Well, these two have raced for a very long time to prove who is the top Sean, and a lot of the time you think they are just absolute matches. They're even in every single sense of the word. The duck machine of Sean McGoldrick is now looking to really push. And something that often doesn't get noted in these cars, where almost 4 minutes through this race, the dirty air effect that comes into play, is actually how strong of a profile that cycle has on these tyres that they're running. And that means that these drivers are looking around at each other going, well, if I could just get a little bit more camber on it, I could go out there and really be aggressive.
Exactly, but you can't, because obviously it's a fixed setup series, so they'll be like, oh, but if I could only be if I only could, use a little bit more, and it's just something that you can't do, so you have to adapt in terms of driving. Meanwhile, a great battle here on screen between Tony Stack and Lawrence de Sosma.
De Sosma then to the inside, trying to open up the Nicky Lauda curve, and he's going to get that done, and quite comfortably at that. Tony Stack in the 99 Minardi livery is not going to have too much love, but Dylan McClements now really in the ringer at the moment. This is Peter McCann, who's looking to move up then into that 8th place. Oh, how close does Simon Hutchings want to go? Picking up a position he did not, stuck his nose where he didn't belong, and he almost paid the price with the ultimate chop.
Yeah, you can ask David Coulthard about unwise moves into that corner. More on that later on. Perhaps maybe not the best of ideas to ask him about that one. Regardless, Dylan McClements in 9th place now and has dropped back a little bit since the start. Mind you, his older brother Sean in 4th place right now. We saw him on the screen earlier on. So Dylan looking to be taking it maybe a little bit safely, a little bit tentatively here in this one, as opposed to the ringers he's been put in last couple of races. And it's a good thing, I think, a good adjustment, Drop a couple of percents. You don't have to be at 100% each and every time so early on in his career. Drive at 95, 96%. If you lose a battle, so be it, but win the war, learn from those experiences. You tend to learn more from the races that you finish than those you fall on the wayside in by lap 2.
Sosma then back to the inside, on around, and and around. Lawrence de Sosua, the head of Potato Nation, has spun the car at the Niki Lauda curb, and that, I think, is being a little bit complained. Whoa! And there's the hit there from Chemco Byington, who decides he wants to get involved in Lawrence de Sosua's spin.
I mean, I'm sorry, Czech. I just have no reasonable explanation on that other than Chem maybe thought that Lawrence was gonna just go full throttle out on the track. Meanwhile, let's talk about this battle, Doherty and O'Shea.
Brilliant stuff then, side by side. They'll head then over to Rauch corner. That will lead to Wirth, then the next left-hander. And there goes Doherty to the inside, positioning that fantastically. They've decided to stop playing the game for the win. They are playing for second place. And Jordan Kelly will realise, hang on a minute, Rory O'Shea, you are my best friend in the world right now. You can continue to put Ronan Doherty in the pressure cooker.
Exactly, I mean, 3 second places and 1 time, I mean, it's almost good enough for Doherty to finish second in every round remaining. He doesn't need to beat Jordan Kelly necessarily in every one of them, and Jordan Kelly can't afford a single mistake. He needs to win every single one of those if that were the case. So right now Rory O'Shea is really playing into Jordan Kelly's hands, saying, look, I want a result from here as well. Mind you, Rory already has 1 win this season. He might be getting another here at Red Bull Ring if this goes the way it's going. But what a battle!
And as they start to tangle tyres, Sean McClements waits for the opportunity. On the power they will go. The inside is given then to Rory O'Shea. But how much is your teammate going to help? Again, trying to hold on the outside line. It does funnel to a 1-line section. And on the outside, there's not enough drive to make that happen for Ronan Doherty. He'll have to sit behind, or does he have the pivot angle again for the inside? Can't get it sorted through the first part, and he runs out of traction. Just like that, Rory O'Shea gets it done.
Yeah, but looking at the body language, so to speak, of Ronan Doherty, he's not about to give this one up just yet. Did you see how late he braked into that first of the left-handers? One of the only 2 ones on this circuit. He may have the helmet of Rubens Barrichello, but he is driving like Michael Schumacher right now.
He is. He's definitely driving with an age of aggression, but behind is Sean McClements, who could be of help. We are not a million miles away from the end of this race, and Jordan Kelly knows it. 1:24. It's going to be very close at the line, whether this will be going official or not. It was 1:30 as they crossed the line left, so I think they'll have 5 seconds left on the clock, and it will be 2 laps to go, which now begs the question, how do you deal with these drivers as they race? Just behind in the background again, there's that search of a move that was coming through, and Peter McCann, oh, he's going to run him out of road.
Wow, a little bit naughty 10 from these guys. Just Peter McCann running Dylan McClements out of the road. McClements looking in the mirror like, hey, what was that for? But doing a good job of staying patient so far. Meanwhile, we move to the head of this battle. O'Shea, Doherty, McClements, McGoldrick. A lot of guys now in the mirrors of Rory O'Shea. That's what you get for prolonged battling. They were running away from them. Now they were tussling, and this time it's looking like a more than 2-car battle for that second position. Might be 3, 4, 5 cars involved, and that's all benefiting Jordan Kelly, this man right here, coming to the last lap, who might get more than 1 car, more than 2 cars even, between himself and Doherty, which is beneficial for the championship.
Yeah, 5 seconds left as he crosses the line, which means we'll go around once more. Sean McClements in 4th position is trying to find the angle, trying to find the moment that gets him on the podium, but he will know that there are bigger things at stake. There's Dylan McClements trying to hold 3rd place in the championship, and there's a move now on as Rory O'Shea gets a slow down penalty at the worst possible time. He tries to serve it, still won't go, and he'll drop back from 2nd into 4th, and it might be 5th as he goes through the corner, as he now tangles with Sean McGoldrick. 4th position. Brilliant stuff at the moment for Sean's, as they now have 3rd and 4th, as they now scrap and tangle. But now there's going to be no love lost between the teammates as the search to the inside. Doherty will just about hold on against Sean McClements there. in terms of that move. Still no! They both go! Rory O'Shea absolutely clatters and smashes off the rear wing of Sean McGoldrick, who will feel so hard done by. That was some very tough racing between them, and just like that, it ends in tears as they go forward, which now just leaves one driver on his own at the front, having to try and pull the mission impossible out and find a great escape in his championship. Part 1 is score complete. Jordan Kelly will take race 1.
Yeah, and it's gonna be Ron Doherty leading Sean McClements to the line. Really, and what a battle we have here in the final corner. Dylan McClements and Peter McCannis. Dylan McClements round the outside in the final corner. What a move from the young lad.
That is just skill. Absolute pure skill. And just like that, 6th position taken away. We'll get confirmation of result here as they all cross the line. It is a win for Jordan Kelly, and he does so in 11 minutes and 18 seconds. He beats Ronan Doherty by 6.1 with Sean McClements 3rd and Conor Malia up into 4th position. Alexander Mielken will finish in 5th. A great result for him with Dylan McClements and Peter McCann 6th and 7th. Tony Stack, Ian May and Ronan Hederman would make up the rest of the top 10. Tony Stack up 5 places in that opening race and will start on the transfer spot in race number 2. We add 5 minutes and we ask that the top 8 at the end of this race get reversed. But again, there are 30 championship points Aussie on the line if you can find yourself with a W in your column at the end of the race.
Absolutely, Terror. So those are crucial points as we come to the twilight of the season. And certainly both Kelly and Doherty will be looking at those W's, will be looking at the checkered flag and thinking, I want one. And how hard has Doherty does have to defend? How hard will he have to defend from his teammate Sean McClements in this race as well? Got a lot of fast drivers behind Melia Milken, Dylan McClements as well. Look for those battles as race 2 is about to get underway.
You're going to have to be aggressive against Jordan Kelly. The only way you can unsettle him is if you make a move early and force him to race. That didn't happen in race 1, and that would have been struggle street. What will be good news, though, for Ronan Doherty is he can go and attack in this race too. Lights on and lights are out. We are underway as we get ourselves sorted. Immediately the move across then from the DDR cars. They're 5 wide in the back as they look to settle themselves out then through the opening section of track, and round goes Ronan Doherty. Doherty spins it at turn 1, not once but twice, and now everybody looks to shuffle out and away. How does he avoid everyone?
That's fortune in misfortune, and there's a car reversing across the track that Jamal Gandour missing his front wing. Meanwhile, there are battles at top of the pack. Jordan Kelly is running away. Sean McClements has elevated himself in 2nd position ahead of Conor Melia and Alexander Milken. Let's get back to that starting accident later on. Meanwhile, we still got positions to settle as lap 1 is about to get into its halfway point.
Oh, troubles for Conor Malia. Is going to have to scrabble across the kitty litter, and he's going to have to try and get back going again. Drops down now to 10th position with Ronan Hederman, who is there just in front. So it is Jordan Kelly who leads. He's got a 2nd over the McClements brothers. Sean leading Dylan 2nd and 3rd. Alexander Mielken in 4th. And this is exactly what Jordan Kelly was hoping for. An issue behind, and down, way down in 18th place now is Ronan Doherty. There is Chemco Beinson. He's in a race as well.
He is, and Chemco Beinson is right now battling with Simran Tahar. So that's 13th and 14th. They are scrapping with Chem in the dark car, Tahar in the lighter car. Meanwhile, for 7th position, there's a battle between Simon Hutchins and Ian May, as Hutchins makes it way, Tony Stack now got overtaken in that minority, something minority drivers will surely be used to, carrying that livery in 1999, and we're about to go 3 wide.
Oh, we are, and they're going to fight to Ramus corner. Who's going to want it the most under braking? Big fight at the inside. Room's going to have to be given. There's the tangle, and it is the Potato Nation car that spins around. Doubly difficult there as Ian May got clattered from pillar to post and has left probably every piece of carbon fibre and bodywork around on the circuit. This is going to be an onslaught for 8th place.
Oh, it absolutely will be. Pole position for the next race. at stake, mind you. Ronan Hederman is now holding on to 7th with Tony Stack quickly behind in 8th. And then to Sosman, Melia, McMullen will have to look for that position, will have to look to gain some time. What can Ronan Doherty do? He's 16 behind the leader, having lost 13 places. But crucially, he's only about 8 seconds behind the 8th place. We got 12 minutes. It is within the realm of possibility, but he's gonna have to turn in those quick laps.
LD17, keep an eye on him. He is right up there in the championship, but this is one of the reasons why. He's up 10 places in race 2 as Sean McClellan sets the official fastest lap then of the race as they went by. Lawrence de Sosa doing a great job there. Simran Takar in 12th, who is now looking at 11th with Chem Colbinson. Every place will matter, and now it's about picking up as many points as you can down the field. Ronan Hederman really scrapping it out now with Tony Stack. This is for your effective front row in race 3 at this point.
Yep, both Stack and Hederman will be looking at the Sospa, who is making excellent progress behind them. He is catching them up, but Hederman looking to the outside. Will he be brave enough, or will he get Alexander Albon in the outside? Oh, can't quite make it work. Maybe going for a little bit of crossover, but more so deciding that, okay, it's not worth hanging around the outside. So I'm keeping one eye all the time on number 9, Ronan Doherty, who is now trying to catch up to Simran Tahar and Cem Kulbainsen. Meanwhile, we got a great battle for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, that's Chan Wing Fei trying to stay out of the way of it, and Alexander Mielken does have Peter McCann for company. McCann will try and go the long way around. That's not going to work, and Simon Hutchings is trying to put himself in the ballpark as they rush out to the final corner. Now, what is not really talked about around this circuit is Jordan Kelly sets the fastest lap. Although this is a track that's got a lot of runoff area, it is very easy around here to pick up slowdown penalties and off-track incident points. Doherty has already recovered to 12th place.
Yep, and he's gonna have to watch out for those slowdowns, for those incidents, and high curbs as well. They can make a mess of this Formula 3 car with ease. Peter McCann trying to get around Alexander Milken, does under braking into turn number 2, so he now upgrades his position to 4th. Meanwhile, Simon Hutchins is also with that 37, looking to take a position away from Milken, who is one of the benefactors of that first corner incident.
I tell you who has had a good race so far. It's Damien McMullen in the number 99 machine in 10th place. Has gained 8 spots so far. Is just off the back of this group, and there he is at the moment. He's really trying to put as much as he can moving forward to try and get what he wants out of the Potato Nation team. And he's got himself every opportunity right now to say, you know what? I'm throwing the kitchen sink at this. If I can just have one incident in front, I'm on pole.
Exactly. So it's not much that it takes for him to find himself in a very good position come race number 3. And Jordan Kelly, meanwhile, just continues to do Jordan Kelly things out in front. 1:24.006, fastest lap of the race. So he is on pace as expected, but there is De Sousa already making his presence known, and that is very important for a driver. Make your presence known, show yourself in the mirrors, in this case in the mirrors of Ronan Hederman, and let them know, look, I'm here. You can't just focus on the front anymore. Apply some pressure, but also just communication, essentially.
Yeah, this is very much a case of you don't want to show your hand, but you want to show your presence. And that's what we're certainly seeing at this point. There is Ronan Hederman, the man on the bubble. As it stands, he's got 8th place and is looking for 7th. That's a big lunge to the inside. He's not going to get that slowed up just enough. De Sousa's going to pick up 1. De Sousa is going to pick up 2 as they decided to play last to the late breakers, and both of them overshot.
Wow, I mean, the way this man just thinks about driving is excellent. His racecraft, he may not be the fastest driver in this field, let's face it, but he has excellent racecraft and enough consistency and enough pace to consistently put himself into positions where he can be the benefactor. So it's one thing to be in a position where you can make an opportunistic move, a double overtake, just find yourself in the right place. It's completely different factor to do so time and time again, to manipulate the race in front of you in a way that you can benefit from it. Be at the best possible position as often as you can.
Jordan Kelly in qualifying got pole with a 1:23.9. In this race, that is a 1:23.7. He is going even faster than qualifying. He is in another world as it stands. There is Alexander Milken in the Potato Nation car, still battling it out with Peter McCann in the race on for 4th, 5th, and I would still say 6th position as well, but it's soon going to be joined out there as well there by Hutchings. So now you started to really focus in. They've already gone through nearly 2/3 of this race, and a lot of the battling that we've seen has been rather tame, and you would say, I don't blame it for being tame at this point in time. Everyone is trying to buy a finish.
Exactly. I mean, I'm not for sale, but...
Well,
Okay.
no, that is very true. You are not for sale, but not necessarily on nationality, but a ticket to the end.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but Lawrence de Sousa is now 11.5 seconds behind the lead and 7/10 ahead of Hederman. Hederman, Stack, and McMullen, if they start battling, if Hederman makes a mistake, something happens to Ronan Hederman, and he loses time, then that battle can cost him a lot of time. The reason I'm bringing this up while we are watching the battle for 4th place is because we got 6 minutes left on the clock, and Ronan Doherty is right now 6 seconds behind Ronan Hederman. He's not gonna catch him up, not with the amount of minutes left, unless there is some battling. And if he gets pole for race number 3, then he has a chance to absolutely run away with the race. Otherwise, it's gonna be a mid-pack start, and that has tremendous championship stipulations as we are at this point. And look at him, he can just see the queue of cars ahead of him. Must be so painful to know that even though you can see 8th place, catching up might not be a thing.
Ronan Doherty in 11th will know that all of his margin right now here, Ossian, is gone. All that championship effort that he gained last week, it's gone. He's now going to have to try and earn that back.
Yeah, it's a deflating feeling. It's kind of like a helium balloon that ends up too high. It's going to pop eventually. And he was hoping that his consistency, his ability to string together a result after result is gonna see him in the championship lane come the end of this season with a trophy, all smiles in the flashbulbs and in the flashlights. Instead, what he's getting right now is 2nd place. Jordan Kelly running away in the lead, while Ronan Doherty is still sitting in 11th. It's not for the lack of trying, mind you. Last time around, Doherty 1:24.2. The issue for him is that guys ahead are doing 25s and high 24s as well.
Whoa!
Not enough time, but that's a spinner, and that's Alexander Milken.
Just like that, getting on the curb, and especially that yellow anti-cut curb on the outside, just finding the Tony Hawk line, and that's why that was a case of more ollie than grind.
Oh, absolutely. And maybe more a case of Tony Gardner pro skateboarding, but there we go.
Nobody wants to see that. Ian May making the move then in the number 4 car and getting the pass done on Eric Couillard. That one for 15th position, way down the order. So that one extra place for Captain, I wouldn't say slow. I'd say he's Captain medium in terms of the pace that he's got in this series. But you've got Jordan Kelly out there in front. It's 4.1 to the good now over the McClements brothers. Sean leading Dylan by 1.4 seconds. But you are really seeing that when the chips are down, you've got 2 options when you're a driver here, Ossian. You either let it consume you or the cream rises to the top. And my goodness, is this some grade A cream that we're seeing at this point in time from Jordan Kelly. He is on another level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's lactose-free French cream from the finest sourced cows. That's what is Jordan Kelly's driving right now. Meanwhile, Alexander Milken and Damian McMullen are in a battle for 9th place, and Ron Doherty is behind them, looking not to get stuck in this battle.
Well, I tell you what, Ronan Doherty's done an incredible job of getting close to it, and now he is there. And this is really important right now, because if he can get up to 9th place, That's big. Tony Stack is only 2 seconds down the road from this, so he's got to make these passes cleanly. Looking to win this one on the brakes, not going to make that happen as he goes through. Pushes the angle out wide, though, and Milken's got nothing for it then as they now charge over to the two left-handers. Milken has the inside. Room has to be given by Ronan Doherty, who still pilots around the outside, almost gets tapped in the rear. Milken's got nothing.
Wow. Ronan Doherty is not leaving anything up for question. There is just this sort of determination of a man who is not willing to give up. He's like a cornered beast, back against the wall. He knows that he has to drive as fast as possible, cannot lose any time. I mean, let's be fair, Alexander Milken probably doesn't care about another driver's championship opportunity, doesn't take that into consideration. However, he had nothing, no defense against Ronan Doherty, who just came in with the right uppercut and said, boom, you're in for a 10 count.
Well, there's the boom, and now he'll shake the room as he makes the look on the outside. It will turn to the inside down the hill through turn 2. Uphill braking zone at turn 3 allows you to brake a lot later than what you would traditionally do because you've got gravity to help you as you slow the car down. There is the pass up into 9th position, and now 2.7 seconds are needed in 90 seconds to get past Tony Stack. It's going to have to require a mistake.
Yep, having said that, Ronan Ederman and Tony Stack's been catching Ederman a little bit. 0.4 of a second last time around, and they're not far separated. So really what Doherty is wishing is for Tony Stack to find a pace as we go sideways for McMullen and around for McMullen.
Yeah, has done very well to find reverse, gives himself a nice gravel trap, but there is the white flag being waved by Barney the flagman as Jordan Kelly leads this field and knows that he is on track once again. Knows he cannot afford to sit by idly in a championship like this, and will know that he has done everything he has needed to and then some. This has been the perfect style of drive from him so far as he climbs the hill at Ramus.
Absolutely, we've seen some Barneys in mid-pack as well, but Jordan Kelly is having none of it. He's just run away 5 seconds to the clear. There's nothing in his mirrors, and his pace just outstanding. Sean McClemens is not a slow driver, Dylan's not a slow driver, but Jordan Kelly is making them look like tourists at this point in time. And look at the perfection in his line, even in the last lap, even when he knows that he's in the clear.
Well, he thinks he's in the clear, he'll know he's in the clear, and it is crystal clear how talented Jordan Kelly is, driving it with purpose right now over the curbs, using all of the margin and then some in this race. We'll head to Jokkemried and the final corner, which some remember as A1, others as Red Bull Mobile. It will be Jordan Kelly, who is 2 for 2, and is going to rubber stamp himself as the driver with the hot seat form heading towards Zandvoort as he takes this second race of 3. It'll be Sean McClemens, then Dylan McClemens, but we go back and head a look at Ronan Doherty, who with the pace that he has got is 1 lap short of Tony Stack, who will take the reverse grid pole.
That's the golden pineapple. Really, you're left with a golden pineapple. 9th position for race number 2. That's so painful, but here you see the final results for race number 2, and you can just confirm the pain that it is for the man in 9th position.
A spin on the opening lap for Ronan Doherty puts him on the outside looking in. Jordan Kelly at the double beats Sean and Dylan McClemens with Peter McCann 4th and Simon Hutchings, a great top 5. Lawrence de Sosa is 6th with Ronan Hederman and Tony Stack, your poles or your front row, so to speak, in race number 3. Coming up, Alexander Milken, the last finisher inside the top 10, 23 seconds adrift. He finds himself overall. That is an incredible element of driving. We do have a chance, though, to speak to a couple of drivers wandering down the pits, though. There's someone with a bit of swagger, which some would say Roblox-style shoulders. It is, of course, Jordan Kelly, who stood by with Ossian Puhaka.
I thought you were describing me there first, Jake, but yeah, Jordan Kelly here with me. And Jordan, I mean, it's been an absolutely amazing week for you. Over the weekend, you won the VR SCC Formula 4 UK Championship. You come here to Red Bull Ring, you won race number 1, you won race number 2. Is there anything you cannot win?
Might be race number 3 like last week, but no, the first 2 races went well, and the weekend was just something unreal altogether. So no, it's good to get back in here and back to the F3. It's been a good 2 races.
It absolutely has been. Was it surprising for you that you were able to run away so easily, comparably? I mean, it looks easy from here. I'm sure it's more difficult from the driver's seat, but so easily in the opening laps, knowing the amount of draft that this circuit has and the kind of racing it tends to produce.
Yeah, I think this track seems to create a lot of wash around some of the fast corners. So once you get like the 7/10 gap to break the toe, you can kind of manage it from there. But so pole position really mattered. So it's going to be a lot more challenging now starting from it. But hopefully it'll be some good clean racing.
Yeah, obviously, one last question before we let you go. Last week at Canada, you had a less than perfect race number 3, let's put it that way. What's the plan this time around to make it clean through?
Probably just try and take it easy in the first couple of corners. I lost the front wing in the second corner last week, and that's what kind of messed it all up. So just kind of be a wee bit more cautious coming in behind people and try and keep the car in one piece.
All right, good luck and take care, Jordan.
Thank you.
That's Jordan Kelly. And meanwhile, Jake, who's been also running around the pit road, has found himself another man to talk to. That is, of course, the guy who finished second.
It is. It's Sean McClements who is here with me right now. Sean, number 1 on the car, but for you, it's been a case of just trying to slowly build into the racing that you've got here. You've got a race up against your brother for, I would say, bragging rights at the moment for 3rd place. How's that panning out between the pair of you? It looks like you're having an absolutely fantastic time.
Yeah. Like it's great to be battling with Dylan, especially with the time that he's actually had on the sim. It's brilliant to watch him improving every week. Each week you think you might have a bit of a gap on him, but he turns around in the race and he provides. He gives them lap time, so it's brilliant to have good battles with Dylan. And as much as I want to beat him, it's also great to see him improving.
So the improvement factor is very much there. Your racing factor in terms of how you've improved through the races, 6th to 3rd, 3rd to 2nd. You now start from 7th place, and you get that sense that with everybody who's there in and around, there is still a championship that you can play a factor in. How important is it for you being in 7th, knowing that it's pretty much DDR surrounding dominant Jordan Kelly?
Sure. The last race, it's just going to be about surviving the first corner, really. Like, because like say me, Dylan and running surrounding Jordan means we can work together and we can try maybe keep Jordan behind or at least keep up with him. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can keep Jordan behind and hopefully get a Team DDR on the top podium.
Top Gear block the road strat. I've heard everything now. Let's get that all sorted. But for you, very, very quickly, because we've got about a minute, what is for you going to be the joy of this race 3? 20 minutes here to go through, knowing as well that you're pretty much sat in a position where not only do you have to look after your championship position, but everyone else is around you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because obviously with the battle with 3rd, Dylan's starting in front, so he's going to be hard to get past. So yeah, just wanting to get as much points as I can and try not ruin anyone else's race.
A finger in many pies, but he is going to be someone who is definitely not going to end up, I would say, disappointed out of tonight. Sean McClements there joining us and getting a strong result out of race number 2, jumping into 2nd. 2 podiums we have seen so far. But to the good, we will find we'll add 5 more minutes onto the clock. We've got 20 minutes to try and figure out who wants to finish and where, knowing that drop rounds are going to be applied heading to Zandvoort after this race, and the margin has been wiped away from Ronan Doherty. He'll have it all to do with Jordan Kelly. We're going to, in the next couple of moments, take ourselves over to the starting grid as there is the rampaging bull in all of its glory. Tony Stack and Ronan Hederman will be on the pole positions and front row, with Lawrence de Sosa in third and Simon Hutchings in fourth position. It is Peter McCann and Dylan McClements fifth and sixth, with Sean McClements seventh and Jordan Kelly in 8th place. Ronan Doherty, number 9, has to do it from 9th. Alexander Milken rounding out the top 10.
Yep, and then you got Simran Tahar, Damien McMullen, Conor Melia, and Jem Kulbainsen in row 6 and 7. Jamal Gandour and Eric Couillard in row 8. You got Ian May and Sean Wing Fei in row number 9. Sean McGoldrick and Sebastian Schulden in row number 10. And rounding out our 21 driver field is Rory O'Shea. And my only regret is that we're going to Sandford in October, because it is a beautiful place, but let's go racing.
Let's go racing. Engine notes are up. 20-minute starts now, and we're underway. Hedman does not get a good start off the front row, and Lawrence de Sosa is swarming, looking around for the race lead there, as there was some side-by-side there between the likes of Doherty and Kelly already. Round already. It's going to go one. That's Tony Stack, who will now find himself dropping down the field like a stone as they rush to Ramus.
And otherwise, a clean start. It's a shame for Tony Stack, but look at everybody else. Look at those guys already heading in towards the first corners. You got some great side-by-side. Ronan Hederman there in position number 3, now relegated to 4th momentarily. No, he isn't. He got past Peter McCann again. Then it's McClements. That's Dylan, Jordan Kelly, Sean, and Ronan Doherty in 8th place. Ronan Doherty, he's got to be so mad that he couldn't get that 8th place, and there's contact.
There is, and it was between Jordan Kelly and Dylan McClements, who was there, and all of a sudden DDR pounced on him like a pack of rats. Look at that, just like that, 3 DDR cars put themselves through on what could be a crucial moment for the championship.
Absolutely. So Ronan Doherty and Sean McClements, and crucially, it's in that order, Ronan and Sean. So Sean can now play defense against Jordan Kelly. How long can he do that is a whole different question, but we know how Jordan Kelly has fared in these races number 3. It hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows.
Look at this, Dylan McClements has got a slow down penalty. He's got to be so coy the way he serves it. About half the field's got to slow down after the opening, after the final corner. So everybody's now trying to get it back into rhythm. And now Sean McClements has the door open here for that move coming through from Jordan Kelly. There's not much that he's going to be able to do to fight against it. They are on a high downforce set, so they are going to be struggling in pace. But there's the look there as McCann moves up, and here goes Ronan Doherty to the point as he will now look to make a pass. Kelly gets 1 done, but not 2.
Yeah, and crucially, Sean McClements stays ahead, as you mentioned there. So Sean McClements can still play defense. Meanwhile, Hederman is looking to get past Doherty.
Yeah, he's trying to get back. He's just got to be a pest, a nuisance round the outside. Ronan Doherty puts a little bit wide, which will allow Ronan Hederman that inside track. Can he keep that alongside, heading to Rauch corner? Little wiggle on the inside there by Doherty. This might open the door up on the exit. He's going to have to cover his nose off on that inside, but he is going to manage it. Brilliant stuff as he holds on. He's now up to 4th, and he's got 3 in front and 3 seconds to chase.
Absolutely does, and still Terrace just looks heading to the inside all the time. Mind you, Ronan Hederman is the teammate of Jordan Kelly in this series, so there's like 2 teams. It's DDR and it's VRA fighting each other for this position. Sean McClements then is looking to get past Hederman and will try it around the outside in turn number 1.
There is Conor Melia, who finds himself then in 10th position. This is an all-important moment then for these drivers fighting in and around the top 10. Conor Melia is trying to recover his race here, doesn't want to use it as a drop, and there is Ronan Hederman, I believe, dropping down the order. He stays out of the way of everyone and allows Jordan Kelly the license to go off and attack, but these are some incredibly strong drivers in this field who do not want to give up on their runs. But it's the head of Potato Nation, the leader of Potato Nation up in front. This is now on for second. Simon Hutchings now losing out because that is Peter McCann, who finds himself now through and getting that done off the end of what could have been potentially a slowdown penalty.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Lawrence de Sosa has a chance to win this race. calling it now.
Yeah, I'd say every driver has a chance to win this race. It is a non-zero chance right now from Lawrence de Sosa. He's got a very good chance, a strong chance of winning this race. 2.3 seconds to the good at this moment. He has just got to drive, and he's already ticked off a fifth of this race. He's got 4 fifths, though, still to go in terms of what he needs out of this one. With McCann second, with Hutchins third, with Doherty in fourth position. Jordan Kelly finds himself in sixth. And this is where Slipstream, I think, has been the big game change for what they've got. Doherty sets the fastest lap of the race. Slipstream and momentum are the parallels to success in a reverse style race like this.
Absolutely are. And look at Jordan Kelly. He's kind of struggling, and he's got damage to the right side of his front wing, I do believe.
Noticeable.
Yeah, and that's just him getting passed, absolutely pounced by Dylan McClements. So Jordan Kelly once again struggling.
He is, and I wonder how crucial that contact between himself and Dylan McClements truly was. The front of the car absolutely nosed into an issue there, and especially when you're running a high downforce set, any imbalance to that front wing hurts twice as much.
Yeah, at least. It is such an important part of this race that we're gonna see a replay actually of what happened to Shamal Gandour, and well, half that car was gone before the spin. So that explains something. I know. Oh dear.
That's the other half.
Yeah, and that was the number 21 of Eric Couillard clattering into him. We've seen often modifieds on the NASCAR side. We call them modified when half the car is missing. Seldom do we see them on the open wheeler side.
It is very seldom that happens, but it does make itself known. Here is Ronan Doherty. Oh, big slowdown penalty there. Coming off of the final corner for the driver who was in second. That, of course, being Peter McCann, who has to fall back to fourth. Dylan McClements with the fastest lap then of the race as he puts that in the books and looks to continue. Doherty now eyeing up second place here against one Mr. Simon Hutchings. There's nothing he can do about that. Move is done, and also a move done, and an important move for Sean McClements as he looks to push, but it's not over. Simon Hutchings gets the up and under. Hutchie, the Welshman, looking to try and put himself in. Lap traffic's going to be a little bit of a pain there. Eric Couillard's going to have to stay out of the way, and again to the outside, it's well held.
Yeah, so Doherty basically had that move done, then he locked the brakes heading into turn number 2, and Hutchins was able to go to the inside, but I don't think Hutchins really wants this battle. That's not his battle, that's not the battle he wants. What he wants is to secure a top 5 here, and he's got Sean McClements, Peter McCann, Dylan McClements, Jordan Kelly for company. So there's no real point being the head of this pack. Instead, let Ronan Doherty go, knowing that Ronan is fighting for bigger things than this race win. And Ronan is now starting to chase one Lawrence de Sosa. It's 3 seconds, we got 13 minutes. Let's see how that unfolds. Meanwhile, behind him, he's got a lot of buffer between himself and Jordan Kelly. Look at that, it's Hutchins, McClements, McCann and Dylan McClements.
I tell you what, Jamal Gandour, in the space of 5 laps, has picked up 15 instant points. He's got a drive-through penalty assigned to him, and that is troublesome for the Simsa Esports driver. There is the damaged Jordan Kelly, who is going to have to be fighting with that front wing every single stage of the way. There goes number 1 through, and that will be Sean McClements now up into third. So DDR 2 and 3 here in this race, and we talk about positions starting to matter and starting to find its purpose and purchase. We're starting to see it now as Simon Hutchings, the Welshman, falls out of podium contention.
Absolutely does. So that's a heartbreak for him. But once again, not his battle necessarily. He's just looking to stay in his pack. Doesn't have the outright pace to match the likes of Doherty and McClements. Does have the outright pace to maybe hold on to this draft pack and hold on to the back of it, and when they start battling, he can pick up the scraps from the table. That's gotta be his game plan, and it is a smart game plan from the Welshman, who was so happy last week after a great result. Meanwhile, here's Connor Melia in 11th place.
Well, 11th at the moment, trying to find a way past Simran Takar, who is pretty much proving that he is a wall at this moment. He is nigh on impossible to pass at this current juncture, but now you're sensing Alexander Milken wants to get into the mix, wants to find himself a pass. There's a recovering Sean McGoldrick on the back of this group as well, who's feeling like he is very out of place at the moment in 14th.
Yeah, has to be, but I wonder if he's tough enough to take this battle on.
Oh, he's very much tough enough. He's been tough enough all season, so he can definitely be very happy. Season before that, he ran a Mr. Sparkle car, and somehow, some way, they're still going.
Yeah, I was almost thinking Commendator's Curse there. It looked very dreadful for a moment, but McGoldrick survives out of that one, and so does Tony Stack ahead of him. Meanwhile, gonna mention this, it showed up on the screen, Ronan Doherty, fastest lap of the race, 1:24.070, and that's against Lawrence de Sousa's 1:24.7, taking 6.5 tenths out of that lead in one lap, relegating it to less than 2 seconds.
Well, it's an alarm bell that is ringing for Lawrence de Sousa and his race lead that he's currently holding on to at this stage. This is Chemco Beinson in 17th, looking at his race out there. Malia also still looking for that top 10 placing. It's still not quite manifesting its destiny at this moment in time. This is an amazingly crucial juncture in terms of how these drivers want to go about their business and pick up those points. There is worth note that Jordan Kelly is just keeping himself out of trouble at this stage, and the group behind is not coalescing to chase down at the moment. Kelly's doing 24.9s in terms of lap time. The only driver who is a threat is right under. You can't get much more underneath the gearbox, Dylan. That is as close under the gearbox as I've seen in a very long time. The only driver who is at threat for Jordan Kelly is Rory O'Shea.
Yeah, absolutely. Rory O'Shea, he's gonna be coming fast, but is he fast enough is a whole other question. Dylan McClements, meanwhile, was showing his close driving skill. Can he now show his overtaking skill versus Simon Hutchins and versus Peter McCann as well? McCann and Hutchins are 10 in a battle of their own. It looks like Simon Hutchins has sort of found a position he can live with, found a pace he can live with. He can run behind these guys. It's fine. He's not going to be running with his tongue under his belt, just looking more or less like he's gonna drop off each and every lap. Meanwhile, Ronan Hederman has crashed out.
And with that,
Rory O'Shea.
That's both of them. That's big. Both of them in trouble. O'Shea's horror night continues, and I think that is down to Rory O'Shea having an almighty smack there with Ronan Hederman, and I think we're going to have to get a replay of it as we've got Dylan McClements there, because I think we've just found the most sim racing accident that is the showcase of why a halo is needed.
Okay, I'm looking forward to this one because I've seen some sim racing incidents, some incidents that could certainly qualify. Here we go, check. The most sim racing incident, and we are looking at Ronan Hederman. It's gonna be Rory O'Shea is the other party. Hederman then spins around, and yellow flags! Yellow flags, and behind those trees there are cars flying. There's absolute carnage and there's horror going on. It's a good thing it was partially censored.
Yeah, perfect censorship there from the cameras. You can't ask for much more. Dylan McClements closing. Gap at the front now is a second at this point. Ronan Doherty has pulled that gap down to a second out there. Dylan McClements still searching for a move into the top 5, but a second. That's all it is at the front.
Indeed. And Ron Doherty last time around 123.8 versus a 24.6 for Dusosba. Dusosba has put in a couple of low 24s, and here's another angle of that incident. Hederman and O'Shea, and just, yeah, I can see what you mean about the necessity of Halo. And also O'Shea, I gotta give him credit, that's a snowboarding trick. That's at least a bronze medal in X Games circa around 2008.
We've gone full Sean White. Just impressive. Simon Hutchins getting some second wind here. He's going to look then to the outside, or the inside, sorry, to get the pass on Peter McCann. He's going to get it done, but McCann's going to try and get power on the exit as he tries to go forward. He's not quite getting what he wants out of it, and as such is there. Tato Nation having a scrap, and let's wash it down with a bit of Duff beer in the race on for what is 9th, 10th and 11th at this moment in time, as Takar has got eyes full of Milken.
Absolutely, in that circuit, milk and beer, which is an interesting combination. I would like to try it sometimes. Not 3 wide in there. Surely not, guys. Somebody has to give in. Come on.
No, none of them. We'll never give
No.
in. Milken on the inside, just about holding it off, and there's nothing that McGoldrick can do except attack at the next corner.
Yep, never gonna give it up and never gonna put the brake down.
No, this is brilliant, but at the front, it's now 3/4 tenths of a second. The race is on for the lead. Lawrence de Sosa has been minutes away now from a first victory here in a very long time, if not ever. This is where Ronan Doherty might have to break a heart, but he will have to be ruthless if he wants every point he can get his hands on with Jordan Kelly in 7th.
Yeah, he's gonna be like a Shawn Michaels right now. And not lose his smile, but instead break the hearts. Ronan Doherty in 2nd place, just 2 tenths away. They got some lap traffic in front of them as well, but I'm sure those guys will get out of the way just fine. And here's Doherty to the inside, trying it, but de Sosa very wisely defending it, forcing Doherty to find another way around.
Defending it late as well. That's the crucial matter of fact. It's late on the defence. Doherty stuck underneath, trying to find a pick through route corner now into Firth corner, trying to find any way to open up an advantage through all of this section. It's still not quite there. Up the small brow, heading to Jochen you always have a chance. That gap 1/10 of a second. Again, it's going to have to fall back into line. Compromised line goes through, but Doherty's got nowhere to attack on it because he has to lift off of the throttle. This is frustrating him at the moment.
It is, but he cannot give in to the frustration. Now de Sosa's best chance for the head of Potato Nation is to try and frustrate Doherty and make Doherty think that the overtake is too risky. I know I mean, Doherty can probably find a way around the outside, but if de Sosa is being erratic enough, using the dark arts enough, then maybe he can make Doherty think twice, but doesn't look to be the case right now.
Oh, this is going to be a big fight here up the hill, but it looks like Ronan Doherty's got it at Ramus corner. Brilliant stuff as he takes the race lead, and a big momentum shift there with 3:45 remaining on the clock. De Sosa was not going to get this one up. He's not someone who does things by halves as he tries around the outside to get it done, but it's not there.
No, the brakes were locked and he ran out of circuit. Had to back out of that one. Meanwhile, Hutchins and McClemens in a fight. That's Dylan McClemens and Simon Hutchins in for 5th place. You got McClemens on the outside and Hutchins on the inside. The Welshman in that very much a brown livery, looking to the inside with a bit of a wiggle. And that's a great battle that is still going on in the final corners. However, it is the young gun, Dylan McClemens, who is able to take it away. Does Simon Hutchins have a response?
You just have to take your hat off and say, if you've got commitment to go around the 2 left-handers on this circuit on the outside and make the move happen, you deserve that spot. Simon Hutchins, I think, is just going to have to go googly-eyed coming out of here. He's got not much, but de Sosa's not giving this one up. He's got the almighty run now down the hill. They're bringing Sean McClemens into play with 2:42, but de Sosa now is thinking about getting the race lead back. He's on the outside trying to fight this. Doherty's going to try and shepherd him away on the inside, and he's going to make it happen as well.
And this all is going to bring in Sean McClemens, who is only 1 second away from de Sosa, 1.2 away from the race lead. The question is, how much does Sean McClemens want it right now? As de Sosa once again looks to the inside, into a gap that was never going to exist, forcing Doherty a little bit wide on the exit, however, just not going to let Ronan Doherty run away. And he's like a boxer in round number 11, round number 12. All of his howitzers, they have been punched out. He's got no strength left. It's a mud fight, but he's still slinging, even with those empty arms.
He's still trying to find something. There's still some hope there, and he is definitely fighting here and is proving that he is, as the adage would say, tougher than a $2 steak. There is a very blinky Dylan McClemens. This is going to be putting Simon Hutchins in a little bit of a pickle here, especially when you got Jordan Kelly just a couple seconds back down the road. You don't want to be struggling with that, but de Sosa struggles out the final corner with a slowdown penalty, and it opens side by side here for second. There is Sean McClemens, who's trying to get this one sorted. Doherty given the free kick. Now it's time for Sean to find what he wants. And this time it's another case of having to scrap. They're trying to go tyre to tyre up to Ramos' corner. Can he shuffle it off? No, there's not enough room there. And still they scrap to Schlossgold.
Wow, this is amazing, heading to the second straight, and once again, look at it, just leaving no room for each other. Sean McClements then on the outside, just picking in the outside line at the last moment, but here comes Dusospa across and just park his car onto the apex. That is perfectly legal. You can do that, and great job by Sean McClements to actually apply the brakes and not run into the back of Lawrence Dusospa. So this is an almighty scrap 10 for second place. Doherty is running away. He's gone. He's gone like my hopes and dreams of a responsible adulthood. But there is a second place battle between Dusospa and McClements.
Please choose your adulthood responsibly, as now the final lap will bring itself into play. Ronan Doherty, who needed some sort of response after race number 2 tonight at the Red Bull Ring, finds a fastest lap and realises that it could be a DDR1-2 as De Sosa again has to cover his tracks at the Niki Lauda curve and down towards Ramos, which is the prime place to get it done. He will again have to cover the inside once more. Is there going to be a case where Sean McClements can find that angle, or will he find the pivot? Thinking about the inside, it's not there. Hutchings in the background, looking for a place as well to gain an extra one as they now scrap through. The Sosa, oh, they tangle tyres, and it's going to be a push out then of McClements. He's going to have to try and fall back into rank and file if he wants to try and get any run. Still pushing on that outside line if he wants to get it done. The long way around at Schlossgold is often the hardest challenge, as behind Dylan McClements puts an almighty send down the inside of Simon Hutchings but overcooks it. Now you've got De Sosa still holding on here as the inside is covered once more through the left-handers. There will be one crucial place left to defend, and that will be Jochenrink corner. McClements needs to run out of here, but he finds gravel only, and Peter McCann might find a podium, and will find a podium. They're sneaking one away in the final stages. Ronan Doherty will absolutely be awesome as he wins, and he will get those points back that he so duly lost in race 2. De Sosa takes a great podium, and it is stolen away on the last corner by Sean McClements, it looks like, for third.
Wow, so yeah, Peter McCann stealing it from Sean McClements, and then Simon Hutchings in 5th place, but Lawrence De Sosa, tell you what, wherever he is from, was it Ireland, was it somewhere else, promote this man to Minister of Defense right now. What a performance to take away even 2nd place in that scrap. That was almighty defense work, just not allowing anything.
Nothing. You had to really make an overtake if you wanted to get by him. Let's step aside, though, for just one moment with the Global SimRacing Channel. Post-race coverage of your RTA F3 Championship fixed is going to be with you after this. They say that turnabout is fair play when it comes to motorsport. The sense that one person's bad luck, one sense, is often mitigated by someone's bad luck in another sense. It's not about how well you do, it's about where you find yourself when all the points are tallied up. Ronan Doherty has spared some blushes with this victory here, as his victory of 21 minutes and 15 seconds is held by 4.1 in the end over a hefty defending Lawrence de Sosa in second. Peter McCann would take the place over Sean McClements on the final lap with just 2 corners remaining, and that would be fourth for Sean McClements, which he'll feel is opportunities and points left on the table for 3 straight podiums. You've got Simon Hutchings, who finished in 5th, a great drive by him with Dylan McClements 6th, and the damaged front wing of Jordan Kelly, 7th place, is still a great result considering the issues that he had to drive through for the majority of the race. Conor Malia would finish off in 8th place, with Sean McGoldrick's Duff car in 9th, beating out the Potato Nation, Alexander Mielkin, finishing in 10th.
Indeed, and looking through the rest of your results, you got Tony Stack in 11th place, Simran Tahar in 12th, Chanwing Fei 13th, Sebastian Schulden 14th, Chemkul Beinsen and Jamal Gandour 15th, 16th, then you got Ronan Herman 17th, Ele Cuillar 18th, and your list of retirements is 3 drivers today, Rory O'Shea, Damien McMullen, and then last but not least, Ian May finishing 21st. Just mind you, before we go to the interviews, Jake, I just ran the points. And this is all unofficial right now, because this is commentator maths, which is bound to be wrong. But according to my maths, after the drops, Ronan Doherty is at 445 points, 445. Jordan Kelly at 441. 4 points difference heading into the final round.
It's going to be incredibly close. We're going to have some incredible battles up and down the order, and the championship will be on a knife edge. As this point in time, Ronan Doherty is here with us and has stood by with Oisin Puhaka.
Yes, Ronan. So first of all, it was a race of ups and downs, a day of ups and downs for you. On one hand, you were able to take a defensive sort of best of the rest result in race number 1. Tell us what happened in race 2.
Race 2. Oh yeah, just spun over the curb and cold tires, and I knew like you actually don't want to hit the brake there, so I just kept it flat out and spun myself off onto the apron, because you know if you hit the brake there, everyone's gonna hit you. So yeah, then I sort of had to come back up to 9th, then went from 9th to 1st in the last race. So look, I was happy enough. To be honest, I think I underestimated how much practice I would need for this track. It's a wee bit more tricky than I thought, but it was good crack now, apart from the dirty air in the last corner.
So the all-important question, with that win in race number 3, which looked very unlikely after you were left 9th instead of 8th in race number 2, not able to start from the pole. So with that win in race number 3, you hold on to your championship lead. According to my maths, you hold on to your lead by 4 points. What needs to happen at Zandvoort for that man in a Rubens Barrichello helmet to do what his idol never could?
I just need to do some laps, like proper laps. Like that's sort of let me down a bit the last couple of weeks, and I'm gonna get them in this weekend. So yeah. I won't be short in preparation for Zandvoort anyway.
Yeah, and last but not least, I mean, obviously last couple of weeks you were fighting for the Formula V in the Formula V Championship for the Emerson Fittipaldi Trophy. You won that one, congratulations. Now all that's left is to win the RTA Trophy at Zandvoort.
Yeah.
So got anyone you would like to give a shout out to, first of all for your real life exploits and then for the sim racing ones?
Oh yeah, of course. Just shout out to my dad and everyone involved running the car, everyone that supports me. All the RTA lads support me as well. You know, cheer me on. So that's great, and it's it's nice to have the trophy sitting there beside the sock drawer. I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, hopefully we can get an RTA one. I was meant to get an RTA one from last year for the F4 Championship, but the fabled, I mean, I guess I'd call him the Gandalf of RTA, Harry McCann, did not send it to me after 1 year, so yeah, get it sent.
So he went from Gandalf to white to Gandalf to grey then?
Exactly, precisely.
Yeah, thank you for the interview, Ronan, and hey, congratulations for the win in the last race. Good luck for next week.
Thanks, cheers.
So that's Ron Doherty, your race winner for race number 3 and a championship contender, one half of the contenders. But next time, Jake is next up, going to talk to the newly appointed Minister of Defense of wherever he hails from. Parts unknown. There we go.
Yeah, Parts Unknown has had a lot of defense in its time. Lawrence de Sosa will finish off in second position. Lawrence, start of that race, Christmas comes early. You're at the front and you gain a gap. It's not often that you feel like you've got that level of responsibility up at the front of the field. But for you, that case of having that gap, having that opportunity, you look behind, you see that gap whittling away. How difficult is it when you're at the front and get a gap to keep it?
It's pretty tough. I got a little bit lucky, but because I know that some of those guys behind are just so fast. I mean, they were pulling 5 or 6 tenths a lap on me. So for me, it was all about that consistency, not necessarily, pulling the laps of my life, but at least being better than the cars behind me, because I know that all those cars would have had a hard time passing all the other cars as well.
You have the unique feature of having finished absolutely last in the opening race after having a little bit of an incident there with Eric Couillard, which I believe, or actually no, it was Chemcon Bynton, I think, there, getting caught up in your spin on the opening race. So talk us through getting back to that point, going from 21st to 6th in race 2, and how race 1 pretty much set you on that, I would say, warpath to getting that second place in race 3.
Yeah, you can't beat a bit of angry driving. That incident with Chem was completely my fault. I misread the relatives, and so I started moving. All of a sudden, saw that there was a car close, and I slammed on the brakes, and that was completely my fault. But yeah, I was pretty annoyed. And then on the next lap, I was coming around turn 2, and I had a disconnect. So it was a big panic to get back into the game, and eventually got back in, starting pretty much dead last. And I had to angry drive my way up to P6 in that race, which I was very happy with.
Well, so long as you let the anger and hate consume you, it looks like you're driving on an absolute path to Zandvoort, thinking that with a result like this, top 5 in the championship is still very much a real possibility.
Yeah, if you look at the cars, like the pace, the lap times are world class. If this was top split of the official F3s, most of these cars that are in the top 10 here would also be in the top 10 in the world standings. The pace is absolutely unbelievable. So being in this position and having a bit of a recovery drive, I don't even know which one was my worst round. I had some bad rounds, but we have a drop round. I've done every round so far, so Zandvoort should be interesting.
Zandvoort should be a showcase, but the floor is yours, Lawrence. Anybody you'd like to thank? It is a P2 finish here in race 3.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody who supports, people watching live on my stream right now as well. Absolutely loving the racing, so they're giving massive feedback. I also want to give one quick shout out. I told you guys before that we were sponsoring a real life race car. She became the Formula Boss 3 champion in Ireland in her rookie season. She's the first female to ever enter the competition, and she won her class. So that is absolutely awesome for Potato Nation, my community, to be associated with that. And in the hype of everything, we have also taken on an extra 5 cars, real life race cars, that we are sponsoring, that my community is sponsoring. So Ronan Doherty, who beat me in the feature race tonight, we have Potato Nation stickers on his car. We're sponsoring him. We're sponsoring Rob Parks, Jason Smith. We're sponsoring Ian Stryker and Jordan Kelly. So it's insane for a sim racing community to have associations and sponsorship with these amazing drivers. I mean, Ronan Doherty won a trophy last week. You guys probably discussed that. Jordan Kelly won a trophy, like the FF1600 UK. Absolutely insane stuff. So to be associated with these drivers and to be able to share a track with them is insane. And thank you guys for the platform and the commentary.
Well, Lawrence de Sosa doesn't only win a second place trophy here in race 3, he also wins Best Leader of Potato Nation, and that's a great trophy to have. Lawrence de Sosa there joining us, gets a second place finish overall, and an absolutely wonderful cause that he has got there going along with everybody that has been going through and putting in that time and that effort. Ossian, you've taken a gander down the pits and you've found yourself with someone who we've talked a lot to over the course of race 3s, and that is Peter McCann.
Yes, indeed, Peter. You found yourself on a podium at the last lap of the last race. So how was it, first and foremost, how was it watching those guys battle right to the end?
I thought I might get third. I thought I might even get second, but only one of them went off in the long run. Yeah, it's a tough track, even though it's so simple. But main thing, just trying to keep it on the track and just trying to not make mistakes when others do. See where you get.
Yeah, I mean, you still sound a little bit gassed, so it must have been a tough race. And overall, I mean, a lot of battling for you here at Red Bull Ring. I mean, you're not quite in the championship contention, but you were sitting in 6th place before this race started, so definitely within a shout for a top 5 this season. So, I mean, overall, how was your outing? If you had to give yourself a grade from 1 to 10 for your day here at Red Bull Ring, what would it be?
It could have been better, but pretty strong for me. I was only ever expecting to get maybe top 5 in the championship anyway, so I'm saying I got a 7 or an 8 today.
Ah, that's an excellent grade. That's one I'll take and run with it. My teachers were never so kind. So Peter, briefly, let's talk about next week. We're going to Zandvoort, the final race of the season, obviously. That's going to be a tough one, isn't it? Completely different type of circuit.
Totally different type of circuit. We have the big straight, of course, but most of it is going to be super tough to pass in these cars. It's going to be big lunges like we were making today. Yeah, I'm just going to try and hold on and wait for others to make mistakes, like I was saying. Hopefully I can stay up there.
Absolutely, we'll be hoping for that too. It was a good race for you, Peter. Sadly not quite on the spotlight here today, but let's hope for a different result next week. We'll love to see that beautiful, beautiful car on our screens. Peter McCann, if there's anyone you would like to thank, then feel free to do so. The floor is yours.
Just the guys behind RTA, and you guys for putting on a great stream as always.
Yep, the pleasure is entirely on our side. That's Peter McCann, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the interview.
Well, that will bring our proceedings over then to a close with the action that we've had here of your RTA F3 Fixed Championship. It will go down to the wire when it comes to the overall, and it will be 1 week from today. Zandvoort is the time. Zandvoort is the place. You will want to be with us again. 9 p.m. BST is the perfect place to be to get that one all sorted with us. Want to give a massive thanks to those who get it done here tonight, from Ossian, from Daniel, and from Dougie as well. You can catch all of the amazing work that is done through our social media pages, and on top of that, the use of the equipment that we've had here today, including the music from June Lalonde. You can catch our stuff on Bandcamp if you have not already. All of our other broadcasts are scrolling across your screen. Make sure to mark that down in your calendar if you have not already, and check out our merch store, gsrc.storenvy.com. But it is Doherty versus Reed, the words. Let's actually get some words out. Jordan Kelly, to get this championship finished. 4 points on the line, and it's a case of who can read their fortune, who can find their destiny, and it's the Dutch Dunes that will await. It's a battle in the desert sands, and we'll get ready for that. When we see you race clean, race hard, we'll see you at Zandvoort.
Yeah.